Hello, welcome to the match reaction here live on Latte Firm. It is Saturday evening, the 9th of August, and Arsenal have lifted the 2025 Emirates Cup thanks to a classy 3-0 victory over Athletic Club in our final pre-season match at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday. Goals from Victor Gyokeres, Bukayo Saka and Kai Havertz has got us motoring. We're going to win the lot. I'm delighted to be back. We're delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to be joined by my good friend Was. Welcome back to the firm, mate. It's been a long time. How are you?
As I'm very well, mate. How are you?
I'm very well. It's good to see your face. It's good to see you back. A new season is upon us. How are you feeling just generally about Arsenal before we tuck into today's game?
I feel like this project is coming to a head. It's now, mate. We've got to see it happen, haven't we? But very excited for the season ahead. It's going to be a difficult one, but we are the best placed, honestly, to push, and there's no real excuses this season, is there? So we know what we got to do, and it's going to be a long ride, but I'm here for it, mate.
I can't wait, mate. It's great to hear your voice. Great to see you back. And obviously, we're going to get you on the channel from time to time this season. Can't wait to have you back as part of the team. Gary Gardner, very, very kind way to start the show. FK, you are the GOAT of Arsenal channels. Thank you. Been watching Arsenal since 1985. As soon as I was old enough to stand at Highbury, you reflect my views 100% of the time. Up the Gunners. That is not my burner account, ladies and gents, boys and girls. So welcome to the show. We're going to talk about today's marvellous win. We're going to talk about individual performances, things that we think we've noticed that Arteta might be tweaking with or might be doing differently, and any areas of concern, not concern, actually, let's use the right words, any areas that you're particularly keen on seeing was Arteta sort of fine-tune throughout the course of this season, because gosh, it's going to be an incredible season. Viggs has gone early with the praise on Zubimendi, the signing of the window, calling it right now since everybody's happy and going to slightly dampen the mood, though. Martinelli should not start for Arsenal Football Club. Now, wait, I can see I see the eyebrow. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about Martinelli. We're going to talk about the left. We're going to talk about Noni Madueke. Because I thought we had a really good second half. And wasn't it great to be back at the M's? Now, you didn't go to the game today, did you?
Didn't go today, mate. I've been strictly golf all summer. I'm saving myself for Old Trafford, I'm afraid. I thought I'd get myself out of there and have a well-earned break after serious amounts of football the last few seasons. So, yeah, I'm buzzing to be back at Old Trafford, but I'll give, to be fair, the whole of pre-season as well.
I don't blame you, mate, because the last couple of weeks haven't been fun. I sent out a tweet this morning just sort of saying that I think there's a real sort of underlying frustration, quite deep frustration amongst quite a lot of the Arsenal fan base. And I say fan base, global fan base, obviously. And I just feel that every point dropped, every game that we don't win this season, that's simmering in the background is going to go to boiling point, and then we're going to see it. And I'm not looking forward to that, if I'm being honest.
To be honest with you, mate. To be honest with you, though, regarding pre-season nowadays, I mean, it's changed more into a money-making scheme. There's no way we should be out playing Newcastle, Spurs, these big sides. It just shouldn't happen. It is simply a fitness gaining exercise. Today really is probably the only one you can sort of look at and take stuff from situations, because we're a week away. It should be our strongest team playing, and that's where we're at. But the nature of modern football is that we have to go global. We have to play these games. It's great for fans across the world to get the opportunity to see us play, but the reality is it's not really what we need. It's not ideal preparation. You shouldn't be playing other Premier League teams. Every game's heightened, every performance is heightened. So I think it's just the nature of modern football. You're almost playing a 12-month season nowadays because of the financial aspects and the demands on it. But it's lovely to see players play, and I just always have took the opinion that pre-season is simply a fitness gaining exercise, positives and negatives. It's simply about putting minutes in the legs, getting yourself ticking over, getting yourself ready, and you turn up at Old Trafford and do what you got to do, and be ready for the season. And touch wood, clean bill of health. We've got through pre-season, players have got minutes, and we're sort of ready to go, mate. So that's why I kind of switch off from pre-season, because it's so easy to get sucked in now, because they're big games, because you're playing Premier League teams, and and it's one of them. But I'm happy that we've got through it, as I say, and we're ready to go into the real nitty gritty of it.
We are ready to go, but just going back to my point was, and perhaps I understand why you're maybe sort of a bit more reflective of pre-season and maybe not taking in the sort of headlines. It has been quite sort of noisy on social media, particularly after the defeats to Spurs and to Villarreal. Obviously, all the headlines about going backwards and old habits sort of creeping in. The results haven't helped, but I felt like today, going into the stadium, I felt like I thought, you know what would be really nice just to win and to win well and to just give people that sort of little spring into a week that we're going to go now. You know, there's all the excitement, all the hype, Community Shield tomorrow. We're going to watch all the training stuff throughout the week. And then, of course, the press conference, the first Premier League press conference. I can't wait. I can't wait to get to Old Trafford. I'm absolutely buzzing now. And this is the effect that it's had. Oshin says, Woz is back. Absolutely delighted. So many lovely messages in the chat. It's great to have Woz back. And Sai also was back. Woohoo. Everyone's on it. Oh, FK on the telly again. Was I on the telly? Someone did tweet me that, but they didn't send me the clip. If you've seen it, I would love that because I sat just by the dugout today. Was Mikel Arteta? Oh, it's a sensational experience. Thanks to my shout.
You're telling him what to do, was you? Is that why we won 3-0?
I'll tell you what. I could have been in that 6-yard box. I could have been in that touchline box working with him, man. What a man he is. And it was great to see. It's really weird. I've sat in the same seat, North Bank Lower, for since the stadium opened. And you're obviously used to a certain perspective of the game. And you're obviously used to players coming towards us in the second half. You know, I'm sure you've sat, you can imagine where I'm sat. But obviously sitting by the centre circle behind the dugout, you just appreciate the left side and the right side in that first half a lot more. So, like, I really got a close look at Noni Madueke today. Got a really close look at Ben White and Jurriën Timber, two players that I absolutely adore. And just loved it, mate. Absolutely loved it. Different perspective. But there we are. Right, let's keep the chat active. Loads of you, hundreds of you watching live on YouTube right now. Please do, of course, drop a like to the video. It's a massive help to the channel in terms of profile on YouTube. And if you enjoy the content, please do subscribe as well. We got I don't know who we're going to have on tomorrow, but we've got Henry Winter on for our channel members and our Patreon members. Welcome to those of you who are watching, and of course the daily grind shows, which are all on the channel feed. Right, let's bring up the starting lineups. I thought Mikel Arteta, because he has been messing around a little bit, and let's not talk about Nico Williams just for a moment. I wanted Mikel Arteta to go strong today. And when I say strong, I mean give us a glimpse of what I think will be the starting 11 at Old Trafford next Sunday. Because if you realise what he's been doing with the starting lineups over the last couple of games, you know, we've had Rice and Gabriel and Ødegaard all coming off the bench and finishing strong. But today I wanted him to start, and this is what he went with. So Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori coming at left back. I love Calafiori. He's silk, but he's just got to be fit. Zubimendi, Rice and Ødegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and of course, Victor Gyokeres. What did you make of the lineup?
Yeah, it's sensational. You know, it's when you see the team like that, you know what you're going to get. And it's been the old adage with Mikel. We've said it for season after season on here. You know, his plan A is as good as any plan A I've ever seen. I'm not just talking, you know, his top Arsenal sides are as good as any top Arsenal side. They're sensational. And when you see a strong 11 like that, you know what you're going to get. It's very, very rare it deviates from that. So hopefully, I mean, we are obviously a lot stronger this year. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that going forward. But the reality is when you see 11 like that, you're confident. I always have been confident because, as I said, Arteta, when he's got his plan A and it is as it is, yeah, you can't go wrong, mate.
You can't. Listen, the Nico Williams thing, just reflecting on it now and looking at that, please don't misunderstand me. This is not a dig at him. This is just a graphic that actually the Atleti Sports sort of home fan sort of account on socials posted and saying, since he decided to stay, we've not had much fortune in our games, and he's dropped 3 clangers in his last 3 pre-season. Of course, he was a player that was linked with Arsenal. So many fans wanted him at Arsenal. I couldn't actually find a graphic of the Athletic Club lineup. But look, just going back to our starting 11, really pleased to see a strong team. Timber and White is an interesting one. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that sort of unfolds this season, because they are 2 fabulous right backs on their day. White is very different attacking wise. We know that. Timber defensively, absolutely sensational. What are your thoughts on Ricky Calafiori? Because every time he plays, I think to myself, my God, what a player. But he's just not available.
Yeah, I mean, you're nail on the head there, mate, because he has got it. He really has got it. He's such a talent, but he's so multifunctional. If you want him to stay wide and be powerful touchline runner, he can do it. If you want him to tuck inside and play football, he can do it. If you want him to lock down and defend, he can do it. He can play left centre back. He can play left back. He can do all them roles. He's so comfortable. But as you say, it's getting him fit and getting him available. But I mean, looking at our fullbacks there, I mean, I genuinely believe, I know we'll probably go into it, but I think our our defensive eight, I would call them, are the best in the world. I honestly think we've got the best squad depth there in the world. And fullback wise, we are so multifunctional. You're talking about Ben White. If you want someone up and down the touchline, Timber's not your man. If you want us to tuck in from the right, Timber can tuck in from the right, and we can go Calafiori high left. If you want to revert, you've got Miles Skelly who can tuck in. You've got Jurian Timber who can lock down the left hand side and play Ben White on the right. Whatever you want to do, whatever scenario and whatever game we're going into, honestly, with our fullbacks this season, the levels have just gone up so high, and there should be no reason that we should be putting Calafiori in a position to get injured. You know, there's a potential there for really good, strong, heavy rotation. I'm not talking every week, but it really, really can be horses for courses, and especially during games, just switching that inversion from the right to the left or the left to the right. You go high right, high left, work with your wingers. You've got so many different options there. And I just think the strength and the ability of them players now has just gone up another level. And Calafiori is testament to that, because I love players like Zinchenko, and they come in and done a job and moved us on, and Tommy Asu. But now, I mean, you look at what we've got. Genuinely, they could all play for any team in the Premier League. And I do believe that. I genuinely believe that.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat, was. Honestly, I said to you before we came on air, I know we talk all the time, but I'm just so pleased to see you, mate. And I'm so glad that you're back on the firm. Let's talk about match stats, was. These courtesy of Cannon Stats. Of course, we won the game 3-0, which was fantastic. Just a perfect scoreline. This is a familiar tale. I mean, look, 3-0 victory, fantastic. That's not the familiar bit, but the expected goals, we always seem to boss. 10 shots compared to their 2, 6 on target compared to their 2, 7 shots from open play for us. We bossed possession, many more passes, won the field tilt battle, double the final third entries. And I mean, the numbers just go on and on. It was completely one-sided today. Now, you obviously watched on the box. What did you make of the game sort of headlines? What did you make of the performance itself?
Yeah, dominant. So dominant. It's stereotypical of an Arteta, a class A performance. We were so strong, great in the press. It's, you know, people are following each other. It's nobody on that pitch was single. And what I really did like to see is that already partnerships are forming, and the intelligence and the knowledge is already there. And it's an easy game today when you look at it. We made it easy, but you are so dominant that, you know, there's very little room for error there. And the defenders were all on their game. They were high, tight, pressing right from the front all the way through the team, and that's when we're at our best. And you know, teams can't really live with us like that. And a big thing I did enjoy today, which we need to do more often, which I think has been a downside to Mikel, is it's almost like a boxer. Once you've hit one punch and you've knocked them down, they stand up. Don't let them finish the round. And that's what we didn't do straight away. Gyokeres got him behind again, nearly unlucky. Then straight away, a minute later, goal. 2 in 2 minutes. See you later, game done. And that's the kind of thing that when we're at our best and we're firing, we're good at. And I think there's times where we go 1-0 up and there's a reluctance and you sit back. We saw it far too much. And I think today is a great adage of that, where you've got the knockdown in the fight. He's up, he's staggering, he's doing everything he can to hold on, but you don't let him get away. You don't let him get back to his stall. And once you've gone 2-0 up, when you're as good as us and you've got the options there, we should be saying good night and this game over, regardless of who we're playing. So great performance and pure domination, and it really, really difficult team to play against when we're like this.
Mate, completely agree. You know, we've talked about it a few times where I sort of chuck out the phrase on the late night lounges, when your opposition is on the ropes, just to use a sort of boxing analogy, you got to go for the kill. And, you know, Arsenal far too often, and I don't know if it's an Arteta thing or if it's an instruction thing, but this is just what I've seen with my eyes. Far too often, whenever we score a goal, you're playing 1-0 as if it's 2-0. You're playing, you know, Arsenal just take the feet off the gas, and you're just like, you're dying inside, because you're in the stadium, you're like, come on, go for the kill, go again, like wave after wave after wave of attack. But for whatever reason, we just sort of sit back. But today was complete. It was control. It was suffocation. It was fantastic to see. Of course, we got off the mark. By the way, El Batch, evening all. Great to see you in person today, FK. I was walking in towards the turnstile, and I just get a random FK really loudly, and I was sort of looking around, and it was this big dude, and he was just like, FK, and I was like, yeah, you all right? Nice to meet you. He's so nice. I think he was there with his family. Batch, I'm so pleased that you said hello, man. You really made my day with your warm greeting. Thank you, brother. Let's talk about the first goal, because, oh my God, it's not photoshopped. Don't know about you, was, but all throughout the summer, this is the real deal. The gunman is off the mark. I mean, there's so many things I want to talk about here. First of all, your thoughts on the striker, because I know you love the game, you know the game, and when you talk about football, you just got a very charming way of sort of articulating stuff. So I want to get your thoughts on the player, but I want to get your thoughts obviously on the finish, because a lot's been made of him not being able to head the ball, and today, of course, his first goal was the header. But that pass from Zubimendi, and let's leave the Zubimendi chat in a second. You're just about to go, weren't you? Let's talk about Victor Gyokeres. Really important to get off the mark, get the monkey off his back. There was no monkey, but you know what I mean. Like going into Old Trafford, you don't want that sort of headline of Šeško, Gyokeres. We're going to get it anyway, but like he's got it. He's probably got a bit of confidence. He probably wants to get back out onto that pitch already. What's your observations of the player, and are you happy with the signing? And what did you make of the goal?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm brutally honest, personally, obviously, I think ideally the number one target would have been Alexander Isak. That might transpire that he is achievable now. For once, the club went out, they identified their targets, not available. Šeško, okay, not available. We wanted him, couldn't do it. Let's go. Gyokeres, lock it down, job done, okay? I look at the individual and I think there's a real hunger there. I think he's a player that, although it wouldn't be my first choice, he's 27 years of age. This is it for him. This is his career. This is his one opportunity. Okay, he scored all them goals at Sporting Lisbon. Bastos scored loads of goals out there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he's done in the past. And ultimately, I do feel that you can only judge a player once they move to the club and see how they adapt and the way they play. I think I saw some very, very positive things from Gyokeres today. A few things that I was concerned about. And I think once he gains confidence, he's going to become better and better. And I think as an individual, we can all see the hunger, the desire, the talent. But as I said, at 27 years of age, this is it for him. This is his one opportunity to make it in the big time. You know, he's been Coventry, he's been round, he's been to Lisbon, and he's coming to the club. Bit like Zubimendi as well. You know, this is his big chance. Sociedad, great, whatever. No, this is it, mate. This is you proving at an age when you're going to go into your prime years, your next 3-4 years, you are committing to our club and you're going to bang. And you're either going to sink or you're going to swim. And I just feel like Gyokeres we can all see his personality. You can see it on the pitch. You know, you don't even need to see it. Just the way he turned up, his interviews, he's got an arrogance about him. He's got a bit of self-belief, and there's always a fine line between it being too much. But I genuinely don't believe Arsenal would sign a player that are too much. You know, they're quite diligent in that sense. We sign good people, good humans, people that want to be involved and be in a squad environment. So I think with Gyokeres, it's going to be very, 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 very exciting to see how he develops. And for me, the pressure is not so bad because Kai Havertz, sensational footballer, and I know we'll talk about him in a minute, but the pressure is not as big as it could be, you know. And not just that, the other targets I spoke about, there's, you know, especially Šeško, he's still of an age that if in 3 years' time Gyokeres leaves, you can sign him then. You know, he's still only to be 25. So I think stylistically, I preferred others, but today opened my eyes a little more to Gyokeres, and I've got a lot to learn about him, and I'm really interested to see how he's going to adapt and develop and take that next step in his career. And it excites me that I know that if he does do that, we've hit the jackpot, you know. And it's the same with Zubimendi. Does it? What signings they could be? They could really be the two that not just push us over the edge, but we push their careers to the maximum potential that they can achieve. And I think it's good timing.
Talking of signings, look who's entered the house. Hand of Arsenal is watching as he normally does, like the ninja in the background. There he is. Hand of Arsenal. Do get following and do get well, my brother. I know you're just going on your own sort of personal rehab at the minute. I wish you well. Was obviously really excited to hear your take on Gyokeres, and I'm so glad, like I said just a few moments ago, he got that first goal. Everyone's really gassed about him, and I think I'm expecting big things from him. You know, he's a very different profile to Kai. We'll talk about Kai and his goal, of course, but I think he offers something really exciting in that he loves to just relentlessly he just runs.
You know,
but he runs with purpose. He runs with purpose, because Kai covers a lot of ground. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
but this guy just wants to be in the box and smash goals.
But what it is, the most intelligent, what I was watching a lot of today, it's not so much the lung busting runs, it's the short, sharp movements, it's the drop of the shoulder, it's creating that space. Even the first chance that he didn't quite get hold of, if you watch him, sucks him in, stops off, space is created, then I shoot. And the moment for the header, he sees the ball coming at that angle. What's he going to do? I'm getting across my man. That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm getting across my man. These instincts cannot be taught. They cannot be taught. You can have elite level strikers that just do not have that goal scoring instinct. Players like Giroud, he used to get across the near post all the time, didn't he? It was just natural to him. But then you've got other players like Kai. It's not so natural for him to be a killer and get to him. He's a different type of striker, which is not a problem. But Gyokeres, it's really exciting to see a player like that, a different variety of player that is short, sharp, fast movements. But like you said, he can do long busting runs. He can run channels. He is big, strong, and physical. But for me, it's them little, short, sharp movements. And more he gets used to the way we play, like there's a few occasions today where you should be knowing that if Saka gets to the byline, you've got to drop off because he's going to pick you out. Whereas at the other side, if Martinelli's getting to the byline, he's going to fizz it across. So I want you near post. And I think Gyokeres will very quickly pick up on that. But as you say, he's vertical running as well. Fantastic. And we're going to stretch teams all season. And we'll talk a bit more about the midfield and how that will progress. But he's a very, very, very good player to add to our, another club in the bag, that's to say.
I can't wait. Viggs is shouting at me, FK, speak on Saka. We are going to talk about Saka. But before we do, we got to just give some praise to Zubimendi because, in fact, you know what? The tweet that really summed it up, my good mate Dino, AF Camden, he tweeted today saying, look, I've not even seen the game, but I'll tell you something for free. Zubimendi is a signing of the summer. What a mesmerizing performance and what a delicious assist. A sort of really whipped in, beautifully sort of paced ball from that half space. I mean, what a player. What we seeing here with Zubimendi was?
Look, first things first, fantastic performance today. I'm just going to call it a little bit because a game like today, perfection for Zubimendi. Absolute perfection. These are the games that players like Jorginho went through his career thriving in. It's an easy game to play in when you have got completely dominant. The pitch is not stretched. You're not covering any distances. We were so good, so compact, so controlled, so high up the pitch. Fantastic. The things he really did do well today. He won the ball back high. He was really intelligent with his tackling. On the ball, he was fantastic. He was progressive. It was an unbelievable performance. But that's very comfortable for him. He spent his whole career playing against teams like Athletic Club in that environment. Let's see you when you're a North London derby away. Let's see you at Old Trafford opening game of the season when there's runners going left, right and centre and there's big open spaces. And let's see you when the game goes crazy. And that's when I really want to see what Zubimendi's got because he will get a few bookings. He definitely will get a few bookings because he's not as athletic as people will imagine. But if we can condense that midfield and keep him restricted to zones, he's going to be an incredible player. And honestly, I look at him and it's still early days. The quality of the player will be as important for us as Rodri is for Man City because his ability to get the ball, to be metronome, to move it, but then to play it through lines and play and keep things ticking over. So important. So important. And without him, we really do lack a line breaker in the squad because Norgard, for all these qualities and ball winning and aggression, he's not that guy and he never will be that guy. And you can't ask him to play 20 games like that. Declan Rice, again, fantastic, but line breaking ability, I wouldn't say he's up there with the elite. And I think that's why he's better off at 8. But this guy, Zubimendi, I mean, the performance today just had me grinning ear to ear. But I'm just saying, I want to see it in those big games. That's where you want him, like he did at the Euro final, to be fair, against England. Didn't he come on and he was just fantastic. So we know we've got it, but the big tests will come. And today was a fantastic performance. And if he continues like that, everyone's absolutely correct. It could be the sign of the season and he's sensational. But I think we will get to a stage where if he plays that well, there's a reliance on him. And it's a bit scary, but also that's how good he can be. And I think with Rice around him, the 2 centre-backs pushing high, the full-backs inverting and supporting, we can create crowd scenes that don't leave him exposed in transition. And even if he does get exposed, I think he's intelligent enough to make the foul. And I think he's going to have a fantastic season for Arsenal. And as I said, he's another one. That age, leaving Sociedad, going to the big stage. Now's my time to shine, isn't it? That's literally it. Now's my time to go, baby. Let's show the world what I can do.
Indeed. A lot of people are loving Zubimendi's performance. I kind of see that. I think, the Premier League intensity, the ferociousness and the pace of the game in the middle of the park when everyone sort of, just sort of kicking away at your heels and not giving you much time to sort of breathe, let alone sort of move on the ball. That's going to be the sort of litmus test for him, but I can't wait to see it. I think the way that he just sort of gets us moving. Clive came on the show a couple of weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, and he sort of describes Zubimendi as he's got all the clubs in both feet. Short, long, high, low. Tremendous.
Both feet is the key though, mate, because he's receiving it, back foot, front foot, left or right, he's comfortable. And that is so key. And he's not just getting the ball, he's manoeuvring it into position to play it quickly. And that's so key. It's not just about getting it and playing it. He can do it both ways. Yeah, so we know he's going to be a phenomenal player for us. And let's hope he stays fit, because he's going to be, and that's the comment there, isn't it? World-class tempo setter, and that is true. But what he has got to do, he's got to remain positive. He's got to remain progressive, because you have to play through the lines when you play for Arsenal.
Indeed. I love it. Listen, time's racing away from us. So look, we've got through the first goal. We've raved about Zubimendi. Let's move on to the second goal. As Viggs was suggesting earlier, Bukayo, and I've picked the headline deliberately here, and let me explain why, ladies and gents, boys and girls, especially to those of you who are maybe watching Latte FM for the first time. And if you are, please do subscribe. There's just a shy of 1,000 of you watching live right now on YouTube, which is insane. If you like what you're seeing and like what you hear, please do subscribe and stick around. I don't think Bukayo Saka has been at his brilliant best pre-injury since he got injured. And I'm not being critical of him. I'm not being harsh against him. He scored some amazing goals in that time. The Real Madrid, the Bernabeu, that flick over today. I thought he was brilliant. But I still think he's got 1 or 2 years in him to get back to his brilliant best. And that's why I've sort of picked on his way back, because when I say that I just use my eyes. I don't have the science behind it. I don't know how much ground he's covering. I don't know about the explosiveness, in terms of his sprints and all that sort of stuff. But there was a Bukayo Saka that I used to see who would be so explosive, so direct, and he'd always want to go in behind and always want to try and sort of run at his dribblers. And I feel he's been playing cautiously over the last sort of 3 to 6 months. And that's absolutely right, because he suffered a horrific injury. But today, he had their fullback on toast. And today, I felt like he was dancing with the ball. He was more assertive and had great purpose than I've seen him in sort of recent weeks. I thought he had a fantastic game. What do you think?
I think you're correct. What I would say, I think you can put Martinelli, Saka and Odegaard all in the same box here, because they all struggled. And it's not easy playing with Mikel Merino up top. It's not easy losing as many players as we did. We were so disjointed in the final third last season, and it had a huge effect on all 3 players who you're right, they all suffered big injuries. And I think you kind of become a product of your environment when it gets like that. And all 3 of them players, I would suggest, have underperformed to their levels. And I feel like they are getting back, but they're going to look so much better with a settled, balanced side around them. I mean, at times last season, we had Partey right back. We had so many different variations going on. The midfield was so, disjointed, and the whole team was just struggling. And we somehow still finished where we did. But you're completely right. It was lovely to see with Saka and the goal. I don't know if we're going to say anything about Martinelli, but I don't.
Well, let's do it, because I know you're a staunch defender of Martinelli, because Martinelli has taken a lot of stick this summer. He's been taking a lot of stick for a long time, and I don't think a lot of it's warranted because of the left-hand side. It's been so dysfunctional for a lot of time. But I noticed that they did a new celebration today. The Barclays isn't ready for that, but he played a key role in this goal. So just tell us quickly about your thoughts on Martinelli before you sort of finish off on Saka.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's similarities with both of them, but like you said, we're often very, very isolated on that left-hand side. And as much as I love Skelly, absolutely love him, the geezer's incredible, he does not offer anything on the outside. There's such a disconnect there. He's so good at what he does in there, but we're constantly left isolated. And the biggest thing with Gabriel Martinelli, his strength at the moment, his outside to in movement, his ability to stretch games. When you actually watch him, he's constantly on the move, mate. He does not stop. He's stretching defences. The ball does not come. We need bravery. This is what I was saying earlier about Zubimendi, about the centre-backs, about Declan Rice, about Martin Odegaard. We need bravery. We need to start playing them balls. And if you look at that goal today, perfect example. The second Gabriel Magalhaes wins that header, if you watch his movement, he's wide left and he's gone, mate. The fullback don't even know where he is. Gyokeres knocks it down. Martin Odegaard it's a great pass, but the runs, it's in front of him. He can see what's happening. And this is all caused by Martinelli's movement. He is exceptional at movement off the ball, outside to him running. Yes, he does frustrate at times. There's no doubt about that. But the reality is we need that kind of player in the squad. We need someone that's going to be able to give you that. And that goal today does not happen unless he's switched on enough and intelligent enough to make that movement. And it happens a lot. And if you start seeing the midfield get more confident, Odegaard getting more confident, Zubimendi playing passes, Rice can spray them, we can move the ball. Ben White's got a great switch on him. And what we're seeing now again is these wingers getting isolated again. One-on-one, 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 not 3-on-1. We're not seeing Martinelli get the ball and have 3 guys on him and Saka getting the ball and then they're passing back. No, we move the ball too quick. We've got too many clubs. We can play, like you said, with Zubimendi. We can get out of holes. We can beat presses. We can play through lines. So he's going to get a lot of stick. I mean, people say his final action isn't good enough for Arsenal. He's scored more goals in open play in the last 3 years than Saka in the league. And that's a fact. So the reality is there's definitely the ability there. And both wingers, I think both of them should be contributing 15 goals. And that's not a problem at all in the Premier League. I think that's definitely achievable. And I think with a focal point back up there with Havertz, with Gyokeres, with Odegaard, with Wanyeri, with all this talent, with all these players, you're going to start seeing the best of them. And not just that, he's not going to be running to the ground either. We should not have either winger running to the ground. We've got no excuses this season. There's rotational options there. I know you're a big fan of Madueke. You can play on both sides. There's no reason for any of these wingers to get running to the ground. So I understand the criticisms to a point, but I feel like you have to take into account the environment for the last sort of 6 months. You have to see the way that a lot of individuals have struggled in the final third. But now we're back. We're cohesive. We're a unit. There's no arc of boredom anymore. I mean, I know Giles and Mike loves that. It's literally like we've been seeing in pre-season. It is literally one side, back another. That ain't going to be happening because we're too good. We find too many ways. And that's what I was saying about Gyokeres earlier. I like to see him dropping in. And that goal was a prime example. Magalhaes wants it. He's switched on. He sees the pass. The run's gone. We're in. See you later. And that's what we need to do again. And we'll do it. We will do it.
Just while you were talking, I think, look, we know we're going to get so many opportunities to eulogise about Bukayo Saka throughout the season. So I've sort of moved on. And I think the Nelly conversation is important. A few of you said in the chat that he has been the scapegoat. People always like to pick on someone when things aren't quite going right. We know the left-hand side has been dysfunctional. So the club went and brought Noni Madueke. And I sort of said a couple, maybe 2-3 weeks ago on one of the Daily Grind shows that I think Arteta is going to do what he was wanting to do and what we've seen Rafinha do at Barcelona, i.e. a left-footed, right-sided player playing on the left-hand side. Now, we'll talk about Madueke just shortly, and it's a very, very short, small sample size, only 45 minutes today, but what I saw, I liked. The chart that I brought up here, again, courtesy of Cannon Stats, for those of you that have been watching the Late Night Lounges a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, from last season, was, a very small percentage of our attacks in the final third were down our left-hand side. The vast majority shouldn't surprise you. Doesn't surprise me. Didn't surprise any of us that it goes down the right-hand side. We've seen it all before. The sort of Timber, Odegaard, Saka, and Saka has doubled up, tripled up, and we just come to a bit of a brick wall. Very little goes through centrally. We know that. But today, look at that. It's kind of swung completely on its head. So this is refreshing to see. And I think Mikel Arteta in his post-match press conference talked about we're working on trying to move the ball quicker and break the lines in a more direct way, starting from the goalkeeper all the way through the defense. We're going to look for those early balls and play, hopefully, in transition. But I thought Noni Madueke, he put himself out there. His work rate off the ball was great. I thought his attitude was spot on. He was running directly at the box. A couple of nice early crosses. Gyokeres, I think, hit the post with a diving header from one of his crosses. I mean, what did you make of his performance? And isn't it, I guess it's an obvious question, but it's really important that we try and redress this imbalance by attacking both sides rather than always going down the right.
Yeah, I think today a big reason that we use the left side a lot more is because we had Calafiori and we had support out there. I think it's more to do tactically rather than the individuals involved in the system. And I think the way that we can move the ball better when the squad is like it is makes a huge difference. I think Noni Madueke, I still personally am not of the belief he's going to play left wing. I don't. I think it's an option, and I think it's definitely beneficial to have, like you said, a fast winger that can hit the byline and cross the ball for certain occasions. Definitely, if you want to switch the game up, it's what I was saying to you earlier about the fullbacks. If you want to invert Miles Skelly in there, well, then you just play Noni out there and you hold the width. There's certain ways you can play in it, and it's good to have. But he done nothing more special or less than Martinelli today. But it'd be looked at as he had a great performance, and Martinelli was the same old rubbish. But the reality is, my favourite thing with Madueke is his unpredictability, and I feel like if you restrict him to the left hand side, he's going to be going. He's going to go outside his striker, outside his fullback. But I feel like on the right, he goes both ways. He's a constant menace. He's a perfect foil for Bukayo Saka once later on in games. But the option is definitely there to utilise him. But I don't see him starting on our left hand side. I'm not writing it off saying it's not going to happen at all. But I genuinely do believe that you take a little bit of his game away by stifling that unpredictability on the right, because he can go both ways. He loves getting a shot off. That's what he was so exciting at PSV. Obviously, his numbers were good at Chelsea, but he weren't, as good as he can be. And I feel like you're going to lose a little bit on the left, but on the right, I love him and he's exciting. And I think on the left, there is definitely occasions for it. You saw it today. Get to the byline, cross it in. Get to the byline, cross it in. If you're at certain game states or you need a different way of skinning people, he's a very, very, very good addition to the squad. And I feel like we're one more away still. If you can move on, he's obviously, for some reason he won't be having Reece Nelson. I don't know why. He's just not interested. He hasn't been from day one. I love the player. I really hope he gets a good move, and because he's a top player and he's really, really intelligent and talented. But I'd like to see if we can move on Reece, we can move on Leo, and if we can move on Fabio Vieira, there should be enough money there to go out and get another alternative winger. And then you are really strong, mate.
And who is that for you, Was? Because you've obviously missed out on all the summer shows, but like the rumors on the streets are that it's going to be Eberechi Eze. There's a potential move for Rodrigo on a loan at the end of the window if nothing happens for him there. I mean, are those two players that would get you out of bed?
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair with Eze, I'm not a huge fan of him on the left, but I think
as in as a winger.
As a winger, yeah, as an out-and-out winger. I mean, again, depending on how you're playing the game, there's no reason why you can't tuck in. But I genuinely believe he's got the ability to play in midfield for Arsenal, and I think he's an incredible footballer, and he could also, displace Martin Odegaard, and in certain games. So he's definitely another. Keep talking about these variations of players that we can do different things with, and we're very, very close to having perfection. And with Madueke and with Martinelli, and Saka, you've got fast, direct. Martinelli's more an off the ball runner, straight line runner, stretching defensive. Madueke and Saka are dribblers. There's definitely room for something else there. So whether it is a Rodrigo on loan or it is an Eze, I love Eze. He's a fantastic player. He's got that X factor, hasn't he? He can just do special things in special moments. But I think that's what I would like to see. One more in and release we all know the players that we need to sort of get out of the way. But Madueke is a very functional signing, mate. It's a very functional sign. Wouldn't be my first choice player, but when you look at it and when you see what he can offer both ways and what he can do and the numbers he can start to offer, it's no Raheem Sterling, is it? Let's be fucking honest.
No. But listen, I like the way that you've just described that, mate, because over the summer it's been a tough gig trying to convince people about Madueke. And obviously I'm not here to do that. I'm not on the club's payroll, contrary to popular belief. But I think, once you sign a player, you've got to try and understand why we signed him and the value that he might bring and the role that he might play and the influence that he might have and the output that he might create. And also, I think it was Rancid Pumpkin who said just a few moments ago in the chat that it's nice to have options. Martinelli's not going to be able to play 50, 60 games a season. Saka, obviously, not the same. So instead of having a youngster, and I know we've got Dalman and Wanyeri, but Wanyeri's breakthrough season last year, this is a player who's played, 70 odd plus times for Chelsea. He's played out in the Netherlands. He's a good player. He's got caps for England. You're right. Functional signing is the way that I describe him, whether he takes minutes out of Martinelli's legs or maybe comes on against a tired right back after Martinelli's been running at him for 70 minutes, or if he gives Saka a little bit of a breather every now and again. This is a good thing for Arsenal. So I'm really pleased that we've got him. Really pleased that we've got him. Let's move on to the final slide of tonight's show, which is, of course, dedicated to King Kai. I mean, the guy's been on the it's bulking season throughout the summer because he looks like a brick wall. But he scored a great goal today, and it was a very unlike Kai goal because two things. he covered a lot of ground and he was running at speed and he was sort of keeping the defender away at arm's length. And he finished with such a clean strike. I mean, so many times you and I both love Kai, but they would be very quick to admit that he doesn't always strike the ball as cleanly as we'd like him to. But today was a really great take, really great finish, and he's just showing the gaffer, the fans, I'm still here. I'm going to be competition for big man Victor, but also potentially might even play together. What did you make of the Germans' performance today, mate?
You know, I love him. You know, I absolutely love that guy.
I know you do.
But again, he's a different type of player, you know, and do you know what? Like you said earlier, he covers a lot of ground, and he does as well. He does do a lot of straight line running. He does stretch defenses, and what I like today is Saka knew straight away. He knew, you know, as soon as that ball come out, he knew that Havertz was on the move, and it's a great
Such
ball
a
over
great
the top.
touch. Yeah, great.
Yeah, it was.
Mean, wow.
But like you said though, it's the intelligence of Kai, and back to his Leverkusen days, he always had that. And I think maybe the physicality in the Premier League sometimes struggled, and he gets bullied in games. But he just doesn't look like that anymore. And I feel like he's a real top level player, top level player. And I think his ability to link play, give you that different option. There's going to be so many games this season, and there's so many opportunities, and he can be used in multiple roles. And I'm just confident in Kai. I trust now that he's going to give you a performance. You know, he was never everyone's cup of tea at the start, and people didn't really understand it. And I didn't really like the left 8 situation. But now I look at him, and I think he's grown. I think he's grown to learn and understand tactically more. He's more aware of what he's meant to be doing. He's got a role now, and he can actually look at him and think, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. You know, whereas before it was a bit like, you know, he's a good player, but what is he doing? Like, where is he? What's he? We know what Kai Havertz, and we know we're going to get for him. And the fact that him and Gyokeres this season are going to be knocking down a door, and it's a real shame with Gabby Jesus. It's a real shame because you and I both know what a player he is. But unfortunately for him, you know, hopefully he gets back fit and gets a good move and ends his career nicely. But these two, Gyokeres and Havertz, are going to have a serious season. And it's horses for courses, mate. Like we said, we keep banging on about it. But the variation in our attack, the variation in our defence, it is now down to the manager. You cannot say we haven't got, you know, you cannot say we haven't got what we need now. We've invested serious money. We've gone out there. We've backed him. You know, we've made signings. All right, maybe we didn't get our first choice. Maybe, you know, we didn't wait till later in the window and take the risk. But we've got these players. They're bedded in. They're ready to go. And Kai's come back stronger, hungrier. And that's the response because he's had stick. You know, he's had a lot of stick. He's had injuries. And how's he responded? Gone away. Look at him. He's come back twice the size. Looks like a beast. Like you said today, the goal was just fantastic. And even if he can chip in with 15, 20 goals this season in all comps, this is where we're going to be. 2 seasons ago, we scored 92 league goals, mate, and he played up front for the second half of that season. And he was huge for us because he allowed Martinelli and Saka to have such positive contributions. And that's what I'm saying. Last season, we didn't have that. We didn't have that at all. We had Trossard up front. We had Marino up front. You know, all this sort of stuff was going on. But now everyone's going to benefit from a fit and healthy Kai Havertz. And Gyokeres will benefit more than anyone because they're going to really help each other, I promise you.
Do you think they could work together, I mean, obviously there's going to be in-game situations where we're maybe sort of chasing a winner or maybe even sort of chasing a leveler. And depending on the in-game state, Arteta might shut the kitchen sink. But I mean, could they be I don't want to make the comparison. In fact, I won't. But you know, the sort of Bergkamp Henry relationship where but no, as in not as prolific, not as effective, obviously, but like just that sort of, you know, one man sort of drops in 10, maybe sort of left 8, and you know, Gyokeres is the menace on the box. Like, is that the partnership that you would see, or could they just be a flat out sort of 2 up top, chuck it in the mixer type thing?
I feel like there is a possibility to, especially if Martin Odegaard is unavailable in certain circumstances, and you know, I would definitely not be against it. We saw Havertz have, you know, some of the best years of his career playing in that sort of second striker role, and we know he can do it, and it's definitely an option. And I think that's why Arteta loves Havertz so much, because he is versatile. And as I said, we haven't necessarily seen probably the best of Kai, and there's always been a sort of underlying, oh, he's a bit weak, he ain't quite. But now you look at him and you think, oh, he's hungry, he's strong, he's focused. And yeah, the two of them together, I mean, who would want to defend against that? Honestly, who would want to defend against them? And you've got the wingers coming in. You've got people like Zubimendi absolutely racking your brains. Declan Rice running up and down like a steam train. You've got centre backs that can ping 70-yard passes over your head. Like, we are a really tough team to play against when we're on it. And I think the defensive unit last season, despite where we were incredible defensively, and we're only going to be better this year. We've gone out, we've invested. I mean, we ain't spoke on it, but Mosquera, what a player, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
My word. Go on.
So it's exciting.
Have a few minutes on Christian. Go on.
No, I mean, honestly, the physicality of the boy, but not just that, he looks refined. He looks like he's been playing all his life for Arsenal. And I'm thinking, this is an insane signing. The money we spent on him, that is going to be one of the best signings of all time because he's so young. And it's almost like we've signed a Saliba replacement years before we even need to sign a Saliba replacement. And it's like, you come in here, mate, you're going to have plenty of minutes. You learn off the best and watch him grow. Because today, played left centre back. It just, it's like, fine, absolute comfortable. I love the way he's so aggressive, so strong, but he's so cultured on the ball, and he's a freak, mate. I'm really shocked by the quality.
Can I ask you, on the televised sort of coverage, or if you're watching online or wherever, there was a moment in the game, and I saw this obviously in the stadium, but from the stand in the stadium, he was running back to recover on a ball that had gone over him, and the opposition player was just pulling on his shirt so tight, almost ripping it off him. But he was so determined to get that ball that he got the ball. Like, I just thought to myself, that is amazing for a kid to be in front of his home fans. He's got balls.
Mate, he's got balls, and the physicality of our players. I mean, that bit where Declan Rice took that awful corner, but then he just, mate, he come back like he was I've never seen it. Do you know, he's such a powerful, direct, straight line runner. And we've really you look at all of them, we're athletes. Timber's one of the strongest fullbacks I've ever seen. Oh, both centre-backs are incredible. David Raya could play central midfield for most teams in bloody championship. Like, he's unbelievable. We've got serious fullbacks. Zubimendi looks the part. Declan Rice, unbelievable. Martin Odegaard, when he's back and firing, incredible. We've got serious young talent, unbelievable wingers, two top strikers now. Mate, there's no excuse this season, and I fancy us to be so strong, keep fit, no injuries, touch wood. And even if we do, it's the way Arteta manages it. And I think hopefully this season we manage players better in games. We take them off at the right times. We utilise our squad, and we're going to be so strong in all competitions. And I feel like this year, we know it's coming to a head. We know the project is coming to a head. It's now entering its last stage, essentially. We've invested. I trust him this season to go out and do the biz. And if he doesn't, then questions do generally have to be asked. But I'm so positive about this season. I'm so excited to see what we're going to get. Like I said, that the hunger and people like Zubimendi and Gyokeres having their big moments, coming into big clubs, leaders like Saliba, Gabriel, they're going to cement themselves down in history as genuine Arsenal greats. And they can go and do that, go and win the league, go and win the Champions League. And they'll be remembered forever at this club because they're that good. And I think it's time to not just have 3 seasons of finishing second and being decent. Let's get over that line. And I fancy us, mate. I really do.
Oh, I love it, mate, when you go on one of those sort of passionate, sort of heartfelt mini rants. Granddaddy Guna says, what a difference a game makes. I know, tell me about it. I think the difference was he's come on here and he's completely put a spring in my step. Let's wrap up the show, by just telling us how you feel about the new season ahead. I think you've sort of hinted that you're obviously massively excited. You've had a summer away from football, not really taking in too much of the friendlies. We've seen Wimbledon come and go, the cricket come and go, and Formula One come and go, but the Barclays is back, baby. Do you think we've done enough in the window? I know you just talked about that sort of left winger. Do you think, should we be favourites or are Liverpool favourites in your head? Like, how do you think it's all going to go? How are you feeling?
It's a tough season. I think everyone's going. I think City are going to be a lot better. Chelsea have strengthened well. Man United have got better. All these teams are better. Spurs are going to be harder to beat. They're definitely going to be harder to beat. Thomas Frank will make them difficult to beat. They're not going to be stupid like that. So I think everyone's going to improve. I feel like Sunderland have come up and give it a real go in the transfer market. Leeds are a big club. it's exciting all round. And then you've got teams like Bournemouth, they're losing a few players. Brentford, they've lost their captain, their manager, they've lost everyone, but they're going to replace and still do well. Brighton are always trouble. So it's going to be such a tough season. I think this year, more than any year, it's going to be harder to get points. It's really going to be hard to get points. There's no easy game. You're not going anywhere thinking you're going to just romp it. Whereas certain years have gone by and you will not be seeing a 100-point season. Absolutely no chance. So what I would say is, regardless of what happens early doors, do not panic. Do not panic. We've got 6 very tough games to start. Do not panic. You can't. We can't be out of it after 6 games. Okay, we can give ourselves an uphill struggle, but this season it's not going to be 100 points, is what I'm saying. Teams will drop points. Liverpool will drop points. City will drop points. They will all drop points. So if you had these first 6 games and it was of old, where Man City and Liverpool were getting under, I would have been like, "Whoa, you're in trouble here." But teams will drop points. But I think we're going to be a very tough team to play against. I think we're going to be exciting. I think we're going to score a lot of goals, as I alluded to. 2 seasons ago, we scored 92 Premier League goals. We need similar. If you're going to win the league, you need to be pushing 100 goals, because last season we scored, 60, 68 or something? So nowhere near enough, mate. And you're going to need to be getting their numbers, and they're going to come from all over the pitch. We're going to have loads of new set pieces. We're going to be doing all these stupid face things and all these, and I'm just buzzing to be back and doing it. And I really do hope we have a fair shot at it. None of this stupid nonsense, VAR nonsense, all these stupid red cards and kicking the ball away and all that follows. I really hope we have a clean bill of health and we go out there. The league's referee well. There's going to be such exciting content coming up, and I'm just buzzing to be a part of it, mate. To be honest with you, and you and I both know what it's like going to Old Trafford. We've got to turn up first day, rocking and rolling. And you know what? They think they've done business. They think Amarin's going to be a bit better this season. And we've got to say, well, hang on a minute, boys. You're not quite up with the big boys yet. We're here to stay, and we're going to go out there and prove a point. So, yeah, although it ain't be all end all up, it'd be such a nice way to start the season, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You've got me on one of those team talks again. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. On a personal note, to have you back on the firm. But I think all the comments that have come in throughout the show about you and your knowledge of football, it's just great to have you back. Ladies and gents, what a show. What a difference a win makes, eh? And there are still 900 of you watching live on YouTube right now. If you've enjoyed tonight's content, please do subscribe. Stick around for more. We'll be back with the Daily Grind tomorrow. We'll have Henry Winter on Monday, and we've got lots of guests coming up. Arsblog, Kieran Maguire, the finance guy, the late night lounges, really going well. Show your support to the channel. Thanks also to all the Patreon members who continue to grow that community and support the channel, and of course our new YouTube channel members as well. Fantastic stuff. Thank you for tuning in. If anybody wants to follow he's available on socials at Northbank. That is your current handle, is it still?
That's it, mate.
That. Good man, get on there. Do follow him, and obviously we'll see you at Old Trafford at some point. And if you've enjoyed the game tonight, there we have it. We finally won a preseason game, and so handsomely. The Emirates Cup champions. You'll never sing that, but the gunman is off the mark. Bye for now.